Devante, on the method of the Mahasi Sayadaw, when we walking meditation, we observing the uh, lifting, moving forward, and dropping of the foot. But on the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, the Buddha is teaching that bhikkhu, while walking, understands I am walking, or while standing, we understand I am standing, or while sitting, he understands I am sitting, or while lying down, he understands I am lying down, or else in whichever position his kaya is disposed, he understands it accordingly. He wants to add about, according to the teaching of the Buddha, the yogis don't need to observe the foot, moving of the foot, but observe the whole body, like the form of body, isn't it?
So first we have to understand the theme of the practice. The practicing of the meditation is not to observe the form. We never observe the form. The form is just a concept. Form is also the concept. The manner is also the concept. So because we call panyati. Panyati is not the reality. We are practicing meditation in order to know the paramatha, ultimate truth. And to know the ultimate truth, so of course we have to observe the body, or we have to observe the mind, the activities of the body, the activities of the mind. So first we have to understand the theme of the practicing Satipatthana, not for knowing the form, not for knowing the manner, is to know the ultimate truth, paramatha. And again, like in Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha mentioned to observe while we are walking, to note as walking while we are standing, to note as standing while we are lying, to note as lying while we are sitting, to note as sitting. But at this, in the same sutta, the word is used sampajanakari. Sampajanakari word is used. So that word means we have to know in detail. So completely and detailedly, from the beginning to the end. So anyhow, when we are observing, let's say when we are standing, when we are walking also, when we observe walking as walking or not as walking as walking, of course we observe our body, the moving body which is moving forward. And while observing the body, the moving body, so why we observe? Again, to know the nature of the physicalities, rupas. And when we try to know the nature of the physicalities, so mainly first 4 elements, the nature of the 4 elements. And the mainly 4 elements and the nature of the 4 elements. To know the nature of the 4 elements like a hardness, softness, warmness, coolness, tension, tightness, like a cohesion. So to know these natures. So, and at the same time, we have to also try to know the mind, the the obvious mind at that time, the mind existing, the intention to walk is there. And of course, there are other mentalities arising at the same time. So to know the physicalities and the mentalities. And another thing we have to understand that, like the yogi, the question is about the Idiapatapabba in Satipatthana Sutta, observing the full posture. But if we observe in Satipatthana Sutta detailedly, if we look, then we can see we have to observe. While observing the full posture, we have to try to know the arising and the passing away at that time. So in order to know the arising and the passing away of the physicalities and the mentalities, definitely we have to observe in detail. So in order to know in that detail of the physicalities and the mentalities, so definitely while walking, we have to divide the section of our movements of the body. Like when we are walking, like lifting of the movements is there, moving is there, dropping is there. So not only three portion, but sometimes even we divide in the six portion if needed. If needed, even we divide in the 6 portion. And another thing we have to understand is we at the very beginning of the practice, we don't know lifting, moving and dropping because concentration is not yet good. What we start is we start from just right leg, left leg, just right, left, leg. As the concentration develops, then only we move to the second phase, lifting and dropping. And when the concentration get more better, then we shift to the third phase of lifting, moving and dropping. And the next thing is in Satipatthana Sutta, if we look carefully, after this Idiapatha Pabba, Idiapatha means the posture, Pabba means the section. After that posture section, Buddha mentioned the Sampajana Pabba, means comprehensive section. So in this comprehensive section, Buddha mentioned to note in very detail, like even when we go to pee or to pop, even at that time Buddha mentioned to note. So in very detail, Buddha mentioned even stretching and the bending of the hand, even the looking forward, looking side by side, even the moving the eyeballs. In this way, in very detail, Buddha mentioned to observe. So just after that, the posture section, so Buddha mentioned the comprehensive section or the division. In that division, Buddha mentioned to observe in very detail. So what the Mahasi Sayadaw taught to practice the Satipatthana meditation or the Vipassana meditation is definitely according to the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. We have, in order to know in detail of the physicalities and the mentalities, and in order to develop very deep concentration, and in order to develop the insight knowledge, it is very necessary to observe in detail. Of each action, even the minor action. Later, like in Satipatthana Sutta, Buddha didn't mention all in detail, but later when we practice, we have to note even the blinking of the eyes, Even the movements of the eyeballs, like we look up, we look down, we look side by side, like even swallowing the syllabus. In this way, all the, even the minor activities, we have to observe during the practice. Okay, I hope question are understood. Okay, let's move to the another question.
Yes,